Control number 6 in this subfamily, I believe, is actually a new one for version 1.1 in the NIST CSF. And it reads, cybersecurity roles and responsibilities for the entire workforce and third-party stakeholders are established. I think we're really looking now more towards the individuals. So up till this date, we've been talking about systems and applications. But as we have folks working inside of our organization, we need to be able to ensure that they have the roles and responsibilities understood and at least defined. So understanding can come later. But does the security team assign roles and responsibilities in accordance with the policies that are set forth in the organization? Okay. Have you actually established who's responsible for security for you, your business, your organization, whatever? Does the system security plan that you have set up and for the org, does it address the scope of the security program? I.e., does the security program only focus on corporate or the enterprise or product security, right? Is there clear defined scope as to what is the responsibility for that organization? Looking kind of further down the line within the NIST CSF, you'll see, the recovery controls later, and this alludes to a connection with those. But the contingency plans, right, for the organization, are they distributed in detail to the key folks within the organization? And are the plans actually communicated to the defined folks? So, having an established group, identifying who within your organization is going to be responsible for security, making sure that they understand what their roles are within that security team, and you might actually be the one and only person who has that role, but do you actually understand now, you or your team, understand what the scope of your responsibility is? Is it just within the enterprise and corporate? Does it extend to your product development, maybe your research? Do you have a play within mergers and acquisitions if your company is in that field? Right? What is the scope of work that's expected of you? And this helps out twofold. One, you understand what you're responsible for. Two, the organization understands what you're actually responsible for and not responsible for. So there's none of this later on, well, I thought Bob was in charge of that because he was the CISO or he was the security guy or girl. Not a great spot to be in. Having a full understanding between you and the organization of what the roles and responsibilities are of security, for security, and by whom allows everybody to clearly understand what can actually be done, what will not be done. And that then allows you to address areas of risk should it come up later. You could have the position, hey, we're not currently looking at product security or application security within an organization because that traditionally hasn't been the role of the security team within this organization, for example. You could then use that information and this control along with some other controls later on, to be able to then outline why that might be an area in which you need to address for addressing risk within the organization. You could then leverage that control, if you're following the NIST cybersecurity framework, to then show that that creates a risk for the organization, and perhaps it's one that the organization needs to be able to address effectively. From there, you can then make your play to either get increased resourcing, funding, whatever, so that you can then support managing that risk, or have the organization acknowledge that it's a risk that they are willing to accept.